Hello, I'm LJ and welcome to another episode of LJ Lit Reader. This is my September wrap up and welcome back to me. I like to talk about books. Here you are. Thank you so much for coming and tuning in to another episode. So this September I read 7 books, which was 3,137 pages. Oh my god, yes I know, it was down by about 1,500 pages less than last month. Oops, what happened there? It was a mixture of print, ebook and audiobook and an average rating of 4.36 stars. So I read The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski, which I rated 4 stars. I read Queen of Shadows by Sara J. Maas. Sorry, I did that wrong. Sarah J. Maas. There we go. Which I rated 4.5 stars. Wolfsong by TJ Klune, which I rated 5 stars. Scarred by Mcintire, which I DNF'd at 50%. Ravensong by TJ Klune, which was 5 star. Belladonna by Adalyn Grace, which was 5 star. And Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J K Rowling, which I have historically rated 5 stars, and I'm not going to change that because it's a classic. What do you want to know about my books? Let's see. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis because I've already done videos about each of these as I've gone along last month, so I'm just going to give you some of the highlights, the things that I liked, and give you a brief synopsis of what each book is about. Let's start with The Witcher, The Last Wish. So this is a collection of basically short stories about Geralt and his adventures as a witcher. It kind of follows the premise of him working and being a misunderstood person, just misunderstood. I can't really explain it other than he would come to a village, they would have a problem, they'd have a monster. The monster would be doing something for the village that the villagers liked, therefore they didn't want to get rid of the monster. And then the ones that did want to get rid of the monster or the thing that was causing the problems would then invariably blame the Witcher for getting rid of the monster and doing his job. So he then would get excommunicated from said villages and told never to come back again. It doesn't read like a cohesive story, so I can only say it feels like a collection of short stories. It kind of follows some adventures that he has. You kind of follow how he meets Yennefer, and I feel like Yennefer is someone of significance because she's mentioned at the beginning as someone that he has had a falling out with, but then at the end of the book he's meeting her and he's shagging her, so clearly something's going right there. I really felt for Geralt. There was just like he couldn't do right from wrong and no one was ever happy with him, and I felt really sorry for him. I have mentioned that I've been putting this series off, as you know, it's got quite a big reputation, but I really enjoyed this and I listened to it on audiobook, so it'd probably be something that I would listen to again. So I know I've downloaded the next 2 books, so I'm going to listen to them, and I think I'll enjoy them. It was quite comforting, and I know that the source material is Polish and it did kind of read as kind of Eastern European folklore type story, and I did kind of enjoy that. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, and I was surprised at how much I liked Geralt. So I mean, you know, clearly it's hyped up for a reason. There was an interesting magic system, and I was intrigued by the elves and what kind of role they'll play in future stories. I was intrigued by Yennefer. I want to know more about Yennefer. I don't know who she is or what she is. I would be interested to see how Geralt's role in society evolves throughout future stories, because clearly he's quite lambasted here and he's not well liked, but then he has friends that are truly loyal to him and will have his back, so he's a good guy. But then the social hierarchy is that, you know, who wants a witcher to get rid of monsters, and it's a bit confusing really. Would be interested to read more about these ones. Oh, anyway, yeah, so I rated it 4 stars. So, Queen of Shadows by Sara J. Maas is 4.5 stars, and it follows the stories of Selena Sardothian, or Adalyn Galthinius, as she comes back to Terrasen and is coming up against her old boss and the king of Terrasen and all of that stuff going on there. And it kind of follows her rescuing her cousin and being separated from Rowan, and then you're following Manon Blackbeak and Dorian. Dorian is now under the power of an evil Vogue. Is it Vogue or Vogue? I think it's Vogue. I have notes here. Oh yeah, and you're also following Kale. I don't like Kale. I think you know that from my previous videos. I'm not a fan of Kale. But anyway, it follows those characters, and Adalyn's kind of rising up against her old boss. She wants revenge for everything that he's done. She wants a piece of jewellery back that he's stolen from her. She's being pursued by several people. There's the Vogue inhabiting the people of Terrasen, the guards, and everything's chaos, and the king is bad, and Manon Blackbeak is cool and badass, and I love her, and I think she's awesome, and I want more Manon Blackbeak. Generally, a good ride was had by all. Obviously, we love Manon and Abraxos. They're the best. Abraxos is a wyvern, which is like a miniature dragon. I feel like it's not a full scale size dragon because a wyvern's slightly different. But anyway, they breathe fire, so that's the main thing. Obviously, Queen of Shadows is much better than the three predecessors. I mean, the third book's alright, but the first two are pants. But that's because they're mainly about Dorian and Kale sucks. I don't like Kale. The pacing, the plot twists, you know, Sara J. Maas is a queen at plot twists and pacing. I mean, obviously in her later books she's kind of got the hang of it all, but yeah, definitely this one picks up a pace, and I'm really enjoying, you know, all the elements of the characters coming together and the story making sense. You know, I'm excited to see how things evolve with the return of magic at the end of this one, and I think that Adalyn's definitely matured a lot in this book, and she's a lot more queen-like, and therefore kind of has elements of, you can see her rise to power and how she's going to fit in with all of that. There was a lot of good fights in this, you know, between the Vogue and Adalyn, and then Adrian and Rowan and Lorcan, and that was really good. And then there was a fight between Adalyn and Manon that was really cool. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited about in this one. So yeah, I had good thoughts about all of them, and if you want to have a more detailed review about any of the books I'm talking about in this wrap up, please go and see my previous videos where I will ramble on to my heart's content. As you know, I'm going to do a little thing here for Wolfsong and Ravensong as one, because you guys, if you're watching my videos, you know how much I love Wolfsong and I loved Ravensong, and I am not going to rant on about it in this wrap up, but you guys will know how much the Green Creek crew has taken my heart and soul and my heart and has me in a chokehold. It follows the character of Ox and his upbringing with his mum, and how he's kind of taken under the wing of a garage which is owned by a person called Gordo and his friends, and they all raise Ox and look after him. And when he turns 16, he's walking home one day and he's accosted by a 10-year-old boy called Joe. Joe is super excited to meet him, says that he smells like, what is it? candy canes, pine cones, awesome and epic, epic and awesome, something like that. And basically Joe brings him home to his family. His family have just turned up to a house that's around the corner from Ox's. It's been empty for a really long time. And it turns out this family have some secrets that they're hiding, and Ox kind of becomes one of the family because Joe is just like so excited to see him. It turns out Joe's been the victim of quite a horrific attack. He's been kidnapped and he's been tortured and abused, and it's the first time he's spoken in ages. So basically the family are like, well, we've got to foster this because Joe is talking and this is amazing. And so Ox becomes one of the family. Gordo doesn't like it, and it all kind of transpires that the family of the Bennett family are werewolves, and it's all a bit crazy weird. As time goes on, Ox becomes part of the family, part of the pack, and so does his mum, and everything is crazy. And then one day a terrible person comes to town and things go bad, things go wrong, and then Ox is left on his own and has to protect the Green Creek and some of the Bennett family whilst the others are off hunting down a terrible person. That kind of follows the first book, and then it kind of goes from there. Ox, as you will know if you've been watching my videos, Ox has my heart and my soul, and I love him to pieces. He is one of the best characters I've read in a really long time, and I love him so much, and I love TJ Klune's writing. It's so good and it's captured me. But obviously if you have watched my videos, you know I have lots of strong opinions about Wolfsong, and the first half being what could be described as a grooming gang. Obviously I like the book, so you have to give it the benefit of the doubt because the first part's a bit weird, and then you fall in love with everyone and you realise that you have to read on. I am currently very much looking forward to reading Heartsong, very excited about that. Ravensong kind of follows on from Wolfsong, and it follows Gordo, and Gordo also has my heart and soul, maybe not quite as much as Ox, but Gordo is the light of my life and we love him too. And basically TJ Klune just makes me fall in love with these men and want to look after them as a maternal figure. I just want to nurture them and make sure they're okay. It's never in a romantic way, it's definitely in I need to take care of this person, I need to make sure he's okay. They really wake up the mothering instinct in me. But yes, really love these books and they're really good, and I can't praise them enough really. So please watch my other videos and look back on my thoughts on both of those books, because I have lots of opinions on both of them, and I will probably have lots of opinions on Heartsong when I get to finally read it. The next book I'm going to talk about is Belladonna, which again I rated 5 stars. This follows the story of Signa and her affinity with death. She is followed by tragedy most of her life, where she becomes an orphan as a baby, and all of her caregivers as she grows up fall to death under mysterious circumstances or various circumstances, which leads Signa to have a bad reputation for basically killing her guardians. She has an affinity with death and can eat poison and basically not die. When she takes poison, she sees death as an actual person, and as the novel progresses they develop a relationship where she hates him and wants to kill him and tries to stab him at one point, and he holds her in reverence because she's one of the only people he's ever come into contact with that he can actually touch without killing, and therefore he holds her in great esteem, but she hates his guts. Signa moves on to her last guardianship. Her cousin has recently died and her cousin's daughter is dying, and she wants to save the family, so it becomes a bit of a murder mystery at this point. She uses her affinity with death and the discovery that she has powers that are linked to deaths to help solve the mystery as to who's killing or poisoning the family and why. and she becomes closer to the stable hand called Silas, who is helping her to solve the mystery, but also she comes closer to death, and a relationship is blossoming there between Signa and the two various interests there. I really liked this one. It gave me really strong Invisible Life of Addie LaRue vibes, and it was a really nice read, well written. And if you want to know more about it, please watch my previous video where I will give you detailed thoughts. And I'm going to only say that because that's all I can say, really. The last bit I'm going to talk about is Scarred, which I DNF'd. I don't think I ever gave a synopsis for it, so I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis of Scarred in this video so you know what it's about, because I did not do so in my previous video. I just said I hated it. So, Scarred is the story of Prince Tristan Fassa, who was never destined for the throne. That was always his brother Michael, the same brother responsible for both Tristan's tormented childhood and the scar that mars his face. When their father dies, Michael is set to assume the throne, and Tristan is set to steal it. The leader of a secret rebellion, Tristan will stop at nothing to end his brother's reign. But when Michael's new betrothed, Lady Sara Beatrow, arrives, Tristan finds himself in the middle of a new kind of war, the kind that begs the question of what's more important, the crown or the woman about to wear it. Sara has one plan: marry the king and eradicate the Fassa line, even at the risk of her own peril. But she never expects the scarred prince. He's dangerous, forbidden, and one of the men she's been sent to kill. But the line between hatred and passion has never seemed so thin, and as secrets come to light, Sara grows unsure as whom she can trust, torn between vengeance and the villain she was never supposed to love. Oh dear. Yeah, this one, I think sometimes the problem with dark romance is that they make characters so unlikable that there's no reason to root for the romance, and that was the real problem here, is that I don't root for either Sara or Tristan, and because of that I got to halfway point and it was a very slow burn, of two unlikable people getting hot and steamy with each other and me not giving a shit. And so I've got several other of these books by this author, and whilst I liked the first one was alright. That one has put me off, so now I'm worried that I'm not going to like any of the others. I found the concept of Lion King fan fiction a bit weird. I'm not going to lie. I think it would have been more Hamlet-y. I think I would have been more on board with it, but it really did read as Lion King fan fiction, and I just couldn't get on board with it. And I just couldn't find anything redeemable to like. Whereas at least with Hooked, I liked James. I thought he was all right. I thought he was an asshole at times, but he was a nice bloke deep down. Whereas Tristan wasn't nice. I didn't see anything to like about him, and it made me uncomfortable that they would have a relationship, because I just felt like she was on a path to self-destruction and it didn't feel okay. So yeah, halfway point I put it down and I won't be picking that one back up again. And then obviously I read Harry Potter. I listened to it on audiobook, Stephen Fry, What a Ledge. And I don't really have much to say. Everyone knows the plot of Harry Potter. I'm not going to tell you what the plot of Harry Potter is, because everyone knows it's about a boy that wakes up one day and a big giant breaks down the door, gives him a letter and says, "You're a wizard, Harry," and that kind of is the premise of Harry Potter. Obviously it's a comfort read, so there's not much to say, but I always enjoy listening to Harry Potter. Always enjoy Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry is a legend. And I don't know if you're American or not, but if you are, please listen to the Stephen Fry version. It's the best. Anyway, that concludes my video, my rambly wrap up of variously telling you to go and watch my other videos for more detailed reviews, but probably not the best wrap up video on the planet, but it is my first one in quite a while, so hopefully I'm going to get better at this. I'm still getting my head round with videos again, and I'm doing my best. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Really love that you've come here to see me ramble on about books again, and love to you all. Hope you have a lovely week, and we'll see you all again soon.